When we think of Kerala, images of tranquil backwaters, swaying palms, and a culture steeped in tradition often come to mind. It's a place where life flows peacefully, in rhythm with nature. But in late 2022, a story so sinister emerged from this serene land that it shattered the state's calm and left the nation stunned. This is the story of Sharon and Greeshma SS, a tale of love, betrayal, and tragedy that continues to send shivers down spines. Sharon Raj, a bright and ambitious 23-year-old radiology student from Parasala, was the kind of person who left a lasting impression on everyone he met. He was known for his charm, optimism, and dedication to his studies. In 2021, he met Greeshma SS, a postgraduate student of English literature from Kanyakumari. The two connected quickly, drawn together by a shared warmth and mutual affection. Their relationship grew in the way most young romances do: text messages, phone calls, and quiet moments shared between busy schedules. For Sharon, Greeshma was more than just a girlfriend. She was someone he envisioned a future with. However, as their love deepened, the undercurrents of an unresolved tension began to surface, though Sharon couldn't yet see it. By 2022, cracks in their relationship began to show. While Sharon was fully committed, Greeshma seemed to be grappling with something deeper. Unbeknownst to Sharon, her family had other plans for her. They had arranged a marriage for Greeshma with another man, a proposal they saw as more suitable. Caught between her love for Sharon and her family's expectations, Greeshma found herself in a dilemma that she felt incapable of resolving. Rather than confronting the situation honestly, Greeshma began plotting a way out. What followed was a series of calculated decisions that would irreversibly change both their lives. On October 14th, 2022, Sharon visited Greeshma at her home in Parasala. It was a visit like any other, or so he thought. Greeshma welcomed him warmly and offered him a drink, a herbal Ayurvedic concoction she claimed would improve his health. Sharon, trusting her implicitly, drank it without hesitation. What Sharon didn't know was that the drink was laced with paraquat, a highly toxic herbicide commonly used to kill weeds. Ingesting even a small amount of paraquat can cause irreparable damage to internal organs, leading to a slow and agonizing death. Soon after consuming the drink, Sharon began to feel unwell. His stomach churned and he started experiencing intense vomiting. Alarmed, Greeshma pretended to care for him, but her facade masked the knowledge of what she had done. As Sharon's condition worsened, his family rushed him to the hospital. For the next 11 days, he endured unimaginable suffering. Paraquat poisoning causes multiple organ failure, and Sharon's body began to shut down, one system at a time. Despite the best efforts of doctors, his condition was deemed irreversible. On October 25, 2022, Sharon succumbed to the poison, leaving his family and friends devastated. What made Sharon's death even more heartbreaking was the confusion surrounding it. His family was left grappling with questions. How did a healthy young man suddenly fall ill? Why were the doctors unable to save him? The truth began to emerge during the police investigation. Sharon's autopsy revealed traces of paraquat in his system, pointing to deliberate poisoning. This shocking revelation prompted investigators to delve deeper into the events leading up to his death. Greeshma initially feigned innocence, expressing grief over Sharon's demise. But as the questioning intensified, inconsistencies in her statements began to surface. Eventually, under pressure, Greeshma confessed to her crime. She admitted to spiking the drink with paraquat, fully aware of its lethal effects. Her motive? To end her relationship with Sharon without confronting him directly. Her family's disapproval of their relationship and their insistence on her arranged marriage had driven her to take this drastic step. Greeshma's confession sent shockwaves through Kerala. The idea that a young woman could coldly plan and execute such a heinous act against someone who loved her deeply was difficult for many to comprehend. The case quickly gained media attention, with people across the state following every development. The trial began in early 2023, and the evidence against Greeshma was damning. Her purchase of paraquat, her behavior in the days leading up to and following Sharon's death, and her eventual confession all pointed to premeditated murder. The prosecution argued that Greeshma's actions were deliberate and calculated. They emphasized the level of planning involved, how she obtained the poison, how she chose to mix it into a drink, and how she pretended to care for Sharon even as the poison wreaked havoc on his body. The defense attempted to argue that societal pressures and the fear of losing her family pushed Greeshma into a state of desperation. They portrayed her as a victim of circumstances, but the court wasn't convinced. On January 23, 2025, the Nyatinkara Additional Sessions Court delivered its verdict. The court found Greeshma guilty of premeditated murder under Section 302 of the Indian Penal Code. She was sentenced to death by hanging, making her the youngest woman in Kerala's history to receive capital punishment. In its judgment, the court remarked on the gravity of the crime, calling it a heinous act of betrayal and cold-blooded murder. The judge stated that the case fell into the rarest of rare category, justifying the death sentence. The court also highlighted the irreparable harm done to Sharon's family and the betrayal of trust that underpinned the crime. The case sparked widespread debate across Kerala and beyond. While many supported the court's decision, viewing it as justice for Sharon and his grieving family, others questioned the severity of the punishment. Some argued that societal pressures and the rigid expectations placed on women in traditional communities played a role in pushing Greeshma to such an extreme act. However, others countered that nothing could justify the cold-blooded murder of an innocent person. For Sharon's family, the verdict offered some semblance of closure, but it could never fill the void left by his absence. His mother, in particular, often spoke of how her son's dreams had been stolen from him. Sharon had hoped to build a career, support his family, and perhaps even marry Greeshma someday. Instead, his life was cut short by the very person he trusted the most. The story of Sharon and Greeshma is one that evokes a range of emotions: sadness, anger, disbelief. It's a story that forces us to reflect on the importance of communication, honesty, and empathy in our relationships. Greeshma's inability to confront her situation directly and Sharon's blind trust in her serve as stark reminders of the potential consequences of unresolved conflicts. While the legal system may have delivered justice, the scars left by this tragedy will remain etched in the hearts of those who knew Sharon and those who followed his story. The Kerala Greeshma-Sharon case is a chilling reminder of how love, when tainted by fear and deceit, can take a devastating turn. It's a story that will be remembered not just for its shocking twists, but for the lessons it offers. A reminder that honesty and courage, no matter how difficult, are always better than the alternative. As we move forward, let us honor Sharon's memory by striving to build relationships based on trust, respect, and understanding. And let us hope that stories like this one become a thing of the past, a grim chapter in history that we can all learn from, but never repeat.